More on the Syria debate ahead of the president's speech. We're now joined by New Hampshire Shea-Porter, joining us live from Washington, D.C. Things breaking, it seems, almost daily on this. What are your thoughts about the Russian proposal and the partnership with Syria?
Well, of course, we're all very hopeful about this. We have to take this with a grain of salt because we know that the Syrians have talked about this before and they've been asked to do this. But we're very hopeful, and it's very encouraging because both Russia and Iran have asked Syria to give up those weapons before, and Iran has a particular revulsion towards chemical weapons. So we are hopeful, but we're watching very closely, as is, I think, the whole world right now.
Iran, of course, had chemical weapons used against them in their war with Iraq. What are you hearing from your constituents about giving the president authority to do a military strike?
Well, they don't want us to do that, and I said he had to come to Congress anyway because it is in the Constitution. But we've been receiving so many calls, very thoughtful calls, emails, and letters, and it's almost 100% asking us not to do this.
It's tough.
I've never seen anything like it.
Leaders do have to make tough decisions sometimes, and the president has reserved the right to take action if he thinks that's necessary, if he thinks it's important, regardless of what Congress does. Behind the scenes, if you're approached by Senator Ayotte or former Senator Kerry, the Secretary of State Kerry, people that you respect, and if they quietly come to you behind the scenes and they say, look, this is important not only to the president but to the United States, would that persuade you differently?
Well, we have been having those conversations. Yesterday, Secretary Kerry, Ambassador Rice, Secretary Hagel, and General Dempsey met with the Congress, and I've been briefed, I think, 5 or 6 times at this point, and I've looked at the intelligence. And we have had this conversation a number of times now, and, you know, we're still in disagreement about this.
Many people, nevertheless, hopeful, despite the fact that we've had a prickly relationship with Russia in recent times. If Syria comes forward, they declare they're going to give these weapons to Russia and Russia takes them into their secure state, would you still consider giving the authority to the president just as a backup?
You know, I already said that I was going to vote no, barring any incredibly unforeseen circumstance. What I've seen so far tells me that if we get into Syria, we don't know what the next day, the day after, is going to look like. It's chaos there because it's a civil war. And so I don't want Assad to lose control of the chemical weapons to terrorists, other terrorists. I would hope that, you know, Russia will do this and it will be able to secure the chemical weapons. But on the other hand, if it's a choice between Assad and Al-Qaeda, you know, we need that stability, as awful a man as Assad is.
Are you comfortable with Russia?
Very concerned.
Are you comfortable with Russia taking possession of those chemical weapons?
No, I think it would have to be international. You know, we'll have to see what happens there, but all of us need to have a stake in this, and all of us need to know exactly what's going to happen to those. So we're hopeful, but we're very cautious, you know, given the history. But we do believe that this could be a breakthrough. All
right, Congresswoman Shea-Porter taking the pulse of people in New Hampshire and also her fellows on the Hill in Washington. Again, tonight, President